Hi, my name's Rochelle Workman, and I chose to do my skill analysis project on a skill called the handstand. I wanted to start off with some information about the handstand that you probably already know. Handstands can be used in many different sports, but I have chosen to focus on the skill within the sport of gymnastics. A handstand is a very important beginner skill in the sport of gymnastics. It's a prerequisite for just about every other skill learned as you advance in the sport. The skill is performed just as it sounds, standing on your hands. Your body will be in a vertical position with your hands placed on the floor and your feet together pointing towards the ceiling. You will position your arms by shoulder flexion or elevating your shoulders until your arms are straight up with your hands pointed towards the ceiling and your biceps close to your head, like this. The handstand uses a lever movement, which means you're keeping your upper body movements and lower body movements in sync. So when starting the handstand, the foot chosen to be put in front is your dominant foot. This means you start slowly putting more body weight as you lean forward on this foot, lifting your back foot off the ground. Meanwhile, your arms will stay by your head and lower towards the floor, and the back leg will move towards the ceiling. Eventually, you'll kick up with your dominant foot, letting both feet meet at the top while you balance your hands using your palms. I have chosen this picture in order to give a better idea of how you will start, perform, and finish the handstand. Obviously, you can see that they start with their arms up, shoulders completely flexed above their head, and then you can see the lever movement right here. As your arms go down towards the floor, your back leg comes up, all in sync. And then once your hands hit the floor, you kick up to a handstand where both feet will meet at the top. And here is the execution phase where you are actually holding the handstand. Then the lever movement comes back into play when you're lowering your leg and lifting your arms back up. Then you will finish the way you started with your dominant foot in front and your arms above your head. Now I can talk about the muscles and joints that play a very important role in the handstand. It's no secret that the upper body is obviously the most important area for the handstand. The wrists and shoulders carry the most amount of weight and are, in fact, the most important. According to the article, infraspinatus muscle, the main muscles that contribute are the infraspinatus and supraspinatus. These muscles aid in shoulder rotation. The deltoids, traps, and rhomboids are also very important. These muscles are the ones that help support the arm through the shoulder region while we put a great amount of weight on our arms. Without these muscles, our arms would simply give out and would not be able to hold our body weight, especially in the upside down position. The forearms, triceps, and just about every area on the arms put in some kind of effort to hold our body weight up in an upside down position. And we obviously can't forget about our wrists. This area goes through a lot to keep our bodies up during this skill. Obviously, since we are holding ourselves up with our hands, the wrists go through the flexion, meaning they flex this way, and this triggers the flexor muscles of the wrist. These include the flexor pollicis longus, the digitorum superficialis, and the carpi radialis. Although it may seem like your arms and upper extremity do all the work, that's not necessarily true. One of the biggest rules while performing a handstand is tightening your core. Also tightening your bottom and your legs, basically your entire lower body and your torso area, in order to keep your body stable while holding the handstand position. Without full body control, this skill is nearly impossible. I have chosen this picture. This shows the rotator cuff muscles that I have just named, and these muscles are what will keep our shoulders stable while we're holding the handstand, and they also aid in the shoulder rotation, obviously. And then this next picture I have shows the importance of a tight core, tight legs, and tight shoulders, in which contribute to being able to hold a perfect handstand position. It's not just your arms. Obviously, you can see how she has everything tight from her feet to her legs to her bottom to her stomach. Nothing is out of the body line, meaning everything is tight. And when talking about muscle contractions, many people think your muscles have to be actually going through some sort of movement to be considered a contraction, but that's not true. We have learned in this class that there is something called isometric phase, meaning, or contraction, meaning there is no movement, but your body is stable and still. So your muscles and joints are not actually moving, but they are going through the isometric phase. And now we can move on to discussing common injuries associated with the handstands. Handstands are obviously a pretty difficult skill if you don't learn it when you're younger. It's usually harder for adults to learn. It requires a lot of strength, balance, and body control. It's not an everyday skill that our muscles are used to. Therefore, aches and pains after performing the skill a few times are very common. There are also many ways that skills can go wrong while performing the skill that don't necessarily happen over time from wear and tear. I've made a graph showing different areas of the body that are common to become injured, and also gave information about the injury and how it is caused. This is my graph that I have made. You can see here that I have the elbow and the wrist, shoulders or rotator cuff, and also even the head.